What's the first thing you want to do that you didn't get to last year as far as Mayor Menino's policies?
Well, the first real major area that we're going to tackle is going to be education. We're going to do some good things in education over the next couple of days, but the new superintendent of schools is going to be a very key appointment for me for next year. There's only about really two appointments that we really haven't filled, and one is the superintendent of schools. The other is the chief of transportation sanitation. But the education one is really important because we have an opportunity here to do some really interesting changes in the city of Boston to make it better. But one thing that we did here in the city of Boston that no other city that we can see in the country ever had or has, chief of education. And our chief of education role is responsible not just to work with the Boston Public Schools, but to work with our charters and work with our privates and work with our parochials. So addressing that very concern that a lot of people have about what's the conflict between charters and public. I don't necessarily see a conflict here in Boston between charters and public. I see a system where both can exist and both can thrive. It's a matter of making sure that we that we deliver education to every kid. It doesn't matter how that system happens, in my opinion.
But the teachers union is not really in favor of charters, so that is a conflict. They're pretty powerful.
Well, there might be a conflict with the teachers union. It's not a conflict with me. I mean, I think the fact that there are a couple of charter schools in Boston, I believe, that are unionized. And I'm not. One thing I learned last year when we were discussing raising the cap. The city was getting wedged in the discussion between raising the cap and not raising the cap, and that's not where the city should be. Listen, if the cap gets raised in charter schools, the cap gets raised in charter schools. We'll work with that. I think the issue is going to be in this future is how do you pay for a system and make sure that the Boston Public School gets proper reimbursement so that we can make sure that we don't lose money to the charter schools in some cases, as well as helping the charter schools survive.